Hey, good morning, everybody. It's early morning to LALATE. Did you crush the Kringle? Did you crush the Kringle? Or did the crinkle your crinkle? Oh, boy. What a week it has been, and it is not over as the bill has landed in Florida. The bill for your second stimulus check has landed in Florida. It has gone on vacation. It is getting a holiday. You are stuck at home. You can't travel anywhere, but the bill is going first class around the world. There's no justice. There is no justice in Congress. So are you getting a $2,000 stimulus check? Are you getting $600? What's the president going to do? Is he going to sign it? Is he not going to sign it? Is he going to veto it? Or are they going to override the veto? What is a enrollment? What is not an enrollment? What's a standalone? What's not a standalone? It seems as though every day that passes, we hear more congressional terms than we ever want to know. All we want to know is when are we getting our darn stimulus check? In this video, I'm going to go over all that and more. And I'll be going over what's happening on Sunday, the expiration of FPUC and UI. But there's good news around the corner, and there's good news coming on the tracks as people have to get things done relatively quickly. So you could see enormous changes this Friday morning, Saturday morning, Sunday morning. All weekend long you can see changes because we have a deadline, and on Sunday, the government shuts down. And with that, thank you for joining me on an early morning broadcast of Early Mornings LALATE. Hey, good morning, everybody. The toast is toast and the butter is buttery. I'm here, you're here, but the bill is not here. It's off to Florida. The bill's going to Epcot. It's going to go see Mickey and Minnie. The congressional bill, the 5,000-page bill, has been flown private jet to go to Florida. Because apparently you got to read things on paper form in Nancy Pelosi's land. She didn't just say to Donald, can you just download the PDF and read it like, how LA read it and everyone else read it by PDF? No. She says I have to send the bill to the president. Okay, print it out and send it off. It's a big undertaking. Lord, can you make me some extra bacon for that story? If you've not subscribed, please subscribe because I'm giving you money right now, not 5 days from now, not 5 weeks from now, and I'm ensuring that you get this money despite whatever's going on in Congress, and I'm going taped, I'm going live. I'm giving you updates by the minute. I'm getting DMs from people saying, oh my God, there's a standalone bill Monday. There's not. What is this enrollment? What does that mean? I'm explaining that as well. I want to make sure that you're up to date by the minute. No one is recording faster, quicker, and around the clock with this channel now, a 24-hour news channel. So please subscribe. Also like this video. Over there is an instant premiere. What are they doing? They're talking about Nancy's first-class plane flight for the bill. Not Bill Murray, not Bill Clinton, the bill. The bill's going first class. We can't even get a glass of milk. They're going first class. Does it get some peanuts also, the bill? Instant premiere is always featured here at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and again it gets 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a first of a two-part broadcast this morning, covering you and getting you up to date about everything that's happening with your second stimulus check and second stimulus package. And with that, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as you start here this morning is that the bill is literally in Florida. The bill has been flown from Washington to Florida. This is the $600 bill. This is not the $600 bill, but the bill with the $600 stimulus check in it. It is not the bill with a $2,000 stimulus check because there is no bill for that. In fact, there won't be a bill for that until Monday or Tuesday. So what's happening Monday or Tuesday? On Monday or Tuesday, Nancy Pelosi will introduce to the House an amendment to the 5,000-page bill to just change one line to say $600 is now $2,000. That's all she's going to do. It's an amendment. It's a 1-2-page document. Very, very, very simple. Now, yesterday and earlier this week, she created turmoil when she said a series of words that viewers didn't understand. Yesterday, she said, I'm going to be doing a standalone stimulus check bill amendment on Monday. What does standalone stimulus check bill. That was what LALATE wrote over the summer. What are you talking about? You said you would never do a standalone bill. She simply thought that it would be cute to use the word standalone, which sort of evokes a lot of optimism and excitement. But there's nothing standalone about what's going on Monday. In fact, it leans on the bill. She's doing a amendment to the bill, and that amendment would change the language as the 5,000-page bill. She's not doing a standalone bill. Hence, the use of the word standalone just caused confusion. It's sort of like when Steve Mnuchin said you're getting a stimulus check this week or next week. Well, you're not getting any of the sort. Of course, Steve Mnuchin is the person who said the president was going to sign the bill. So shows you how reliable Steve Mnuchin is along the way. Nancy also told you your bill's enrolled. Who? It's enrolled. You mean rolled up? No, enrolled, like enrollment. The bill has undergone enrollment. Oh, yeah, of course. What does that mean? It means that the bill has a provision that allows the bill to give extra time for the president to read it before the federal government shuts down. It's enrolled with an option to keep the federal government open further days until the president's finished reading. So what does the enrollment period end? Sunday. So it's basically saying, read really fast because you only have to Sunday, and then you're not enrolled anymore. You're unenrolled. You're expelled. You're expelled from the temple of schooling. Dueling or doom or dueling. Why all this craziness? Viewers are simply just not getting it, not enjoying the likelihood or getting the logicalness of all this silliness and pettiness. The pettiness had high fire, high ignites, and strange nuances on Christmas Eve. As Nancy said, I'm not taking out $8 billion for foreign aid. I'm not taking out $1 billion from museums. The reaction was, why was it in there? I'm not going to tell you why it was in there either, but I'm not taking it out. So there. So what is Nancy on Monday going to do? She's going to do a standalone bill that leaves it in there. Yeah, because it's her way, the highway. Don't you know that? That's sort of the theme of the show. It's her way, the highway. She's going to leave in the $8 billion of foreign aid and the $1 billion for the museums. What is the net result of that? There is no law, because the president said, I will never sign a law if that's in there. And so what's Nancy Pelosi doing? Leaving it in there. Crush the bill. She's really crushing the hopes of the bill. So wait a second. This is sort of counterintuitive, isn't it? She wants you to have a bill, so she's leaving a provision in there so that you don't have a law? So you don't have a bill? How does this work? It works with the nuance of Nancy Pelosi is trying to appease different fractions or factions or fractions and factions. Joe Biden told Nancy Pelosi 3 weeks ago, just get a darn bill passed. I need some economic stimulus into this economy. Don't give me an economy with no stimulus in it since March. And notice those few weeks, Nancy stayed quiet. It was such a refreshing time in the U.S. government. Nancy Pelosi, you didn't hear from her for almost 2-3 weeks. And she was told to do something, and she did it. She pushed a bill to finally get it close to finalization. And then suddenly at the 11th hour, she's like, let me throw in some pork. Anyone have some pork sliders? And they're like, some beef sliders. No, I want pork. I want pork in this bill. Let's put some pork sliders in her. And she put some pork sliders in there. She put pork, federal aid for federal countries, and then federal aid for museums. And said, I hope no one sees it. And they did see it. And then they said, no, we're not signing this. Okay, so which version of Nancy Pelosi is this? This is the one that doesn't want the bill to pass. And so then when people caught her and said, Nancy, there's this thing in there that shouldn't be in there, what did she say? She said, I'm leaving it in there. My way, the highway. Well, your highway doesn't go to a law because the president already told you he's not signing it if it's in there. So suddenly we have the Nancy Pelosi who doesn't want you to have a law. Now, the broadcast news media is not helping the situation because the broadcast news media is making it sound like Nancy Pelosi wants to give you a $2,000 stimulus check. If she wanted to give you a $2,000 stimulus check, she would take out the foreign aid and take out the museums. But she specifically says, no, I put them in there and I'm not taking them out. And it's my way and I'm going to override what the president's desires are. Broadcast media doesn't tell you that. Now, on the other side, the Republicans are doing the best version of selective amnesia. It's sort of like a bad Real Housewives episode. So the Republicans say, we want that foreign aid out of there, and we want that museum money out of there? Well, how about the checks, Republicans? What do you think about the checks? Well, I want the foreign aid out of there, and I want the museums out of there. But how about the checks? Let me go back to those museums. That's all they're doing. They're sort of going around and around and around talking about the museums and the foreign aid, the museums and foreign aid. But every time you ask them about the stimulus checks, they avoid the subject matter. So they're not raising the stimulus checks from $600 to $2,000 because they don't want to. So to deflect, to ignore the subject, to avoid the question, they're talking about two other things. So you have two nincompoops. You have one group of people who doesn't want to do all three things, and you have another group of people who doesn't want to do all three things, and they're doing exactly the opposite ones. So the Democrats don't want to do the museums and the foreign aid, but do want to do the check, and the Republicans don't want to do the check, but do want to do the foreign aid and the museums. Is it ironic that they're doing this? No. So why are they doing this? No one knows. Ultimately, it looks like they're all teeing this up for Georgia, trying to pit the other one against the other one for 5 to 2 Georgia Senate races on January 5th. If you ask me, would they be doing this if those 2 Georgia Senate seats were not happening? Absolutely not. They would never be doing this if there weren't 2 Georgia Senate seats up for a January 5th re-election. Now, this is the twist, though. The Senate is still dominated by this GOP. And the Democrats want that to change. So how does the events of next week impact it? And this brings you to the next level of this discussion. Nancy Pelosi is going to do an amendment on Monday or Tuesday to put a $2,000 stimulus check in there and avoid the discussion about the foreign aid and the museums because she's not going to take them out. And she's going to try to pitch that as though she's trying to really help you, and the Democrats aren't. They're trying to kill you. That she always says. They're killing you. The Republicans will have a difficult task to spin that story. And the only way the Republicans can win on this discussion, I detailed all throughout yesterday, and probably continue today. There's only one way. And that way is for Mitch McConnell, the speaker, the leader of the Republicans in the Senate, to introduce his own amendment, not Nancy's, but his own, that does exactly what the president asked for. Mitch promised us he was going to do that. Remember, at the very beginning of this process, he said, I'll do whatever the president wants me to do. We don't have a law unless the president signs it. Well, now the president's told you, Mitch, what he wants to do. Do exactly what he wants to do. Well, how about Ron Johnson, though? He may not support me if I do that. Ultimately, I believe that the Georgia Senate seats will look at Ron Johnson as Ron Johnson, and the other Republicans who don't want to give you anything as those people. They won't look at it as Mitch McConnell if Mitch McConnell does what President Trump asked him to do. The bill may die, the amendment from Mitch may die, or may approve. We don't know. But ultimately, it will push back against Nancy Pelosi's narrative, which is Mitch McConnell doesn't want to give you the $2,000 stimulus check. He will give you the $2,000 stimulus check in this proposal. And he'll take out foreign aid, and he'll take out museums and say, Nancy didn't do that at all. And that's why we don't have a law, because you're not doing exactly what the president asked for. Sounds sort of easy, doesn't it? It sounds so obvious. And sometimes most obvious things are not being done. What's happening this Sunday is also obvious, is PUA expiring. PEUC is expiring as well. And so this will be the last week you can certify for benefits for PEUC or PUA unless your state is giving you extended weeks of benefits. So how does that play out? What will happen next? And how does your unemployment benefits kick in if you have extended weeks from the state? Or if you don't, but they take care of this by a bill in the next few days? I'll cover that in the video coming up after this. Meantime, where is all this other stuff we're promised? Are we really going to get the $2,400 of SSI and SSDI? Will your benefit checks be cut off or stopped if there's a government shutdown on Sunday? What happens to your Social Security checks? Are they still going to come on time if there's a government shutdown on Sunday? I'll be answering those questions and more. And I'll also be answering why this whole nuance of going from $600 to $2,000 may end up going right back to $600. Oh yeah, that's an option as well. Just join me next on that video. Thank you for joining me on Morning to LA, early morning to LA. It starts every morning at 1 a.m. with EIDL. If you did not miss that EIDL video, it's very helpful, especially if you think you want to get an EIDL. It's every day here on 1 a.m. at Pacific Standard Time, 4 a.m. on the East Coast. And then also catch the video that debuted right before this on PUA and UI. That's every morning at 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, giving you all the updates on how to apply for PUA, UI, or FPUC application. Easy breezy and down and simple. Coming up next, the continuation of Early Mornings LA, the 6:30 a.m. edition. As always, stay informed, stay smiling. Go to the front of the channel, subscribe, and also like this video. And see you in a little bit at 6:30 a.m.